Hello YouTube, LJ Draco here. Yes, this is a very strange video for me to do, but it's a very serious video for me to do, and I just feel like I need to talk about this to finally get this off my chest, to finally explain to everybody like why certain things that I do and say. So this video is going to be based and dedicated to this reason. As you can tell by the title, this is based on the OCDs of being a collector. Now, the problem with most collectors are they let their OCDs take preference over everyone else's, which is understandable. You know, if you have certain ways of dealing with certain things. So if you don't like the way, like for example, like me, I don't like colourful cases. I like all my cases being blue. But when I watch other people's videos, I don't turn around and say, like, oh, their collection looks horrible because they've got a red case. I don't say that. Because in fairness, you know, when I'm watching someone else's collection, their collection looks like it belongs to them. And I like that. I like the fact that they have a unique style of doing their movies. Just like everyone has different ways they organise their movies, different categories, different genres, alphabetical, release year, you know. OCD is one form of illness, in a way, but it has multiple ways of being effective. Like I just said, like some people, we all have, like all collectors have some form of OCD, but it's never the same OCD. It's never the most like similar OCD. I just want to talk about all my OCDs of being a collector, just so you guys can understand the struggles that I go through when it comes to movies, and see if there are some similarities. Now, I know there's probably a lot of things, but all I ask is that you don't judge my OCDs. Don't turn around and say, oh, that's disgusting, oh, that's horrible, oh, I could never do that. Because I wouldn't do that to you guys. I remember having a conversation, I was watching a video of my friend Omar, and his channel will be in the description below. And he was saying that, I think it was a live stream, he said that I wouldn't like his criteria, because I don't like criterions. I don't like criterion releases because they have clear cases, and because they're not designed like Blu-ray cases. They like a full case. There's not that little bit at the top that makes the sleeve a bit shorter. And I would hate to have that in my collection, like next to my Blu-rays. So, and I remember saying like, oh, I know LJ, you won't like this. And in my head I was saying like, you know, I don't mind it because it's your collection. It looks fine with you guys. It's just I couldn't physically myself buy it. So all I ask is before you watch this video, don't judge me on my OCDs. If you continue watching, then it proves that you're my friends and that you're acceptable and that you understand. But if there's anything you don't agree with, then that's just your opinions. It's just how you feel. I understand that. But there's no need to say like my opinions are wrong or anything like that, because there's no wrong opinion. It's just an opinion, you know. It's just the way you live your life. So let's get into this. My OCD started with VHSs, you know, like sometimes you'd get like the very like smooth thin cases, like not thin but like they wouldn't have that weird sharp bit of plastic going around the edge of the openings. And then you had the ones that had that, and then you had the clamshell cases, you had the weird like magnetized ones, and you had the weird cardboard ones that kind of like fold out. And I hated that. I said to my dad growing up, I was like, why can't they all just be in like similar cases? And there was all different designs. There was see-through, white, black, blue, green, red, clear, silver, gold. There was all these different colours. And I said, what? Why can't they all be equal? Because I remember the first time it really did hit me, my OCD, is when we was buying the Spider-Man movies on VHS. That's the first two Spider-Man movies peed me off. The first one came in a red case, and I was like, yeah, I was like, this is kind of cool, red case Spider-Man, that works. And then the second VHS got released, and it was in a black case, and I was like, why isn't it a red case? And I asked the guys at Woolworths at the time, I said, why isn't this in a red case? And oh, sorry, you know, this way it was released. I was like, this is horrible. So when I got home, I changed it for a red case to match, and I felt much happier knowing that they were both similar designed. It just felt right in my head. So now let's get back into the future now, DVDs and Blu-rays. As you know, DVDs had multiple versions of cases, just like Blu-rays. You know, you got the little clippy cases, got big cases, thin cases, steel books, digibooks, box sets. And my OCD states that if you're going to have a collection, in my head, if I'm going to own a collection of movies, I would like my collection to at least look like a collection. I would like it to at least feel like it belongs where it belongs. And in order for that to happen, it needs to be in Blu-ray cases. They need to all be in Blu-ray cases. So that's one thing. It's just the color has to be the same, and they all have to be Amaray cases. The issue I have with chunky cases is the fact that not only do they take up more space, it's not only that, but they don't, as you guys know, I have OCD with something else which I'll get into a bit after. So I'll talk about it now, and then I'll re-talk about a bit afterwards. So here's like the chunky case that I was talking about. So this is just one of the spare ones that I've got from older movies. Alright. Now there's two types of chunky cases you can get. There's these ones, and there's the ones with the square corner, just like standard Amaray cases. And that's what bugs me, because these circle ones they're nice, but they're too big. As you guys know, I'll show you now. I have OCD with cases. I have OCD with cases. Standard Blu-rays have to be in these circle cornered cases. As you can see, they've got curved edges. And then you've got these ones which have the squarer edges. They're it's more like a square case than it is a circular case, if you see what I mean. Right? That's how I have to have it. My 3Ds have to be in square cases, and my 2Ds have to be in circle cases. That's just how I can define my collection. That's just how I can see my collection being a collection. It's like, I know where all my 3D movies are because they've got the square corners. I know where all my 2D movies are because they've got the circular corners. I even had an issue with thin cases. I hated the idea of thin cases because of the fact that, you know, having standard Amaray cases and then a thin case next to it, it just looks horrible. It just doesn't match. It just looks wrong. And then I started getting used to the fact that sometimes the thinner cases can be a bit more acceptable because they take up less space. So you have more space to add more movies. Whereas if you just had a bunch of like these cases on your shelf, you know, you'd be missing out. I mean, I worked out. This is the same size as two cases, right? So this one case is the same size as two cases, right? Whereas this is the same size as three of these thinner cases. So I could have 2 to 3 extra movies on my shelf if I didn't have these big cases. And that's where it fits into my OCD, because I'm like, oh, okay, I can have a few more movies. But I'm the same with these thin cases. There's two types of thin cases. There's these circular corner ones, which I really like, and then there's the squarer corner ones, you know, the ones that usually come as the eco cases. So I would rather all my, I've done it so far, all my 2D movies, yeah, again, Blu-rays, are in these more circular ones, because I can get these circular cases for quite cheap. But there's certain standard Blu-rays I own, which annoys the hell out of me. There's some standard ones that won't fit into the circle cases, because you can only get these cases as a 1 or 2 disc holding one. You cannot get a 3 disc circular case. You can only get the square corner ones, which bugs me, because it means that somewhere on my shelf I have to have at least 1 or 2 Blu-rays that have square corners. And I don't like that. I don't like that one bit, and it makes me really mad. But as you know, it happens. So my OCD is very specific. My original OCD I used to have was all my movies had to be production order. So it was like 20th Century Fox, Universal, Disney, DreamWorks. It had to be all like that, and it wasn't even alphabetical order. It was just release, kind of like the production. And then it was my brother turned around to me and said, "Oh, why haven't you got them all in genre order? Because then, you know, if you fancy the specific type of genre to watch, you could just go to that section and look for it." And then I tried it, and it just felt right and like looked better. There was a good consistency of movies, and I just stuck with that afterwards. OCD, sometimes it can be fun, but it can also be very painful and very depressive. The reason I take my OCD seriously is because I never used to. I just used to see OCD as something that was fun, because I used to love organising my movies and going out and buying movies, making sure they all matched. I used to love that. And then one day I came home from school, and at this time I had just built up a collection of over like 800 DVDs. And I was so impressed with how many I had. I had box sets and like my 007s. I had the Friends box set, and I had so many horrors. I had about 200 to 300 horror movies. I had a nice big collection. And I came home from school and I looked at my shelf and I'd noticed that something just didn't feel right. Something felt really horrible and wrong. Something had happened, and I've come in and I've gone like, what's gone on? And the one thing that a collector will always know is no matter how many movies you have, if something is wrong with your collection, even if it's just like one movie's been removed, you will instantly know. Any movie collector will tell you this. If a movie's been moved, you'll know instantly without even having to look for it. So I've just come in and looked at my shelf and just noticed something was wrong. So what the hell's happened now? And my brother and his girlfriend were laughing at me, and I was like, why are you laughing at me? This is not a nice thing to do. And they're like, oh, well, while you're at school, we decided to have some fun with your movies. And they had taken discs out of practically nearly every single case and just swapped all these discs around. They had taken the sleeves inside out and put them upside down backwards, so that like the inside white would be facing out. They'd put Harry Potter in Lord of the Rings in Marvel, Marvel in horror, and it was just, I couldn't do nothing other than cry. Which sounds kind of silly, but the thing that I'd worked hard on for quite a while to build, so as you guys know, I had an eating disorder growing up where I don't like food. I actually hate food, but due to the way I am, I tend to eat a lot of it, and I don't like eating food. But I'd always spend my money on it, and then when I started collecting movies, that was what my money was dedicated to, was just picking up movies instead of buying sweets, chocolates, and stuff like that. I was just like going out buying. Before, after, and during lunch break, I would go and pick up a bunch of movies. So I kind of just sat down and cried. And they were laughing at me. And to this day, they still think it's hilarious. But they don't realise that at that time, I just really hated them because it hurt. It was a painful experience. If you're a collector, you should understand that. Having that done to your entire collection that you've worked hard on, it's just painful to look at. Sleeves got damaged, discs got cracked, and they didn't even care. Like, they genuinely did not care. And it's hard to say this, but I've never felt such a big betrayal in my life. It hurt. So I take my OCD now extremely seriously. Anyone messes with my collection, anyone touches anything that shouldn't, anything that's missing or is borrowed without permission, I lose it now. I don't sit there and be calm and just like cry anymore. I fuss so much. Like when I first met Alice, hopefully one day you guys can ask her, she'll back me up. I noticed that a DVD off my shelf was missing. Now at this time, this was a couple of years back, this is when I had them 5 shelves. I had about 3 to nearly 4,000 DVDs. Like my entire wall was coated in bookshelves full of DVDs. I showed you guys the pictures. And I was, it's so hard to say. I noticed that just one film was missing, and it's not a film you would notice has gone missing, but I did, and it was Me, Myself, and Irene. And we just switched rooms, so all the DVDs had like been moved and stuff, and she'd never seen me quite angry, and I was trying to hide the fact that I get angry about my movies because I didn't want her to think I was weird. But I just lost it, and I started screaming, swearing, shouting, threatened to throw my entire collection in the bin. I was really over the top. I'll admit that I was way over the top. But as a collector, you do, you know, when you lose a piece of your collection, you feel like you're losing a piece of your soul. You work hard, you know, to build that up. And I was like, that's it, I'm done. And then like, I feel like a day later, she turned around to me, she goes, do you know that film that you missed, that went missing in your DVD collection? And it re-brought up the fact that I needed to get it again. I was like, oh my god, yes. She's gone, I found it. It was just down by the side of the table where the movies were. And I couldn't believe the feel of relief. Like, at that time, I saw like a glow around her. She was like my angel who had just saved my life. I gave her a massive hug. I started crying, and I put the film back on the shelf. And I took this big sigh when the movie got put back. I was like, and just like, it was all, and it's hard. Collectors, we struggle, you know. There's certain OCDs, there's certain little nitpicks that we just can't handle. Like, one of the most common ones, if I can find the cases now. Yeah. One of the most common OCDs that I have is when I go to buy a movie, and it's like this. It's like, it's either they've left it like this or what. But it comes over the line of, I bet whoever's watching this is currently at this moment crying or screaming. That's what happens. Or it's just like a little bit like the corner. I'll show you. This is the worst. Like, doing this hurts me at the moment, but I need to show you guys. So I'm willing to go through pain in order for you guys to see what I'm talking about. Or when it's like that, and it's like the corner kind of sticks out and the rest of the sleeve's in, I just start panicking because I'm like, oh, there's a line. You're supposed to mark it up to the line so it looks nice. And yet there are people who will genuinely just mess around with it and make it horrible. And now it's back to normal. So now I feel happy. It's back where the line is. So this video was just to explain that in the movie collecting business and with the hobby and with the fun and excitement of it, there are tons and tons of issues. Things can make you hate collecting. Things can make you want to give up collecting. Like steelbooks getting slightly scratched. I mean, my mate, Mental Movie Man, he has an OCD with slipcovers now. I don't know what it was, but he's been obsessed with slipcovers for a while. And Ghost in the Shell, the slipcover had a tiny split on the back, just a tiny split. He took it down to HMV to get it replaced when they refused to replace it because they didn't have any sleeves. But he was that determined to get a new slipcover that he took it all the way back to HMV, which is quite a bit away from here, to get it replaced. And it's like, OCD isn't a joke. There are issues. Like when my mate was talking to me about it, he said, oh, I can't have a slipcover that's damaged. And in my head, I'm kind of like, that's really ridiculous, you know, like, as long as the movie and the sleeve are okay. But then I kind of realised that, you know, it's his OCD. It's his issue. It's his problem that he has to face with having his collection. So I kind of support that situation, because in the end, I know how it feels when you've got an OCD that no one understands. They'll just turn around and instantly go, you're stupid, you're crazy, don't need to do this. But I understand that there are struggles. Now, one quick thing before this stream ends. Sorry if you've noticed this plaster. It's because while I was making some custom sleeves, I use this technique where I can't cut straight to save my life. So I use a ruler and a Stanley knife, and I just trim the paper, and it comes out much more even that way for me. And yesterday I kind of forgot that my finger was over the ruler, and I went straight and cut like this half of my finger off with the Stanley knife. So it's, yeah. I would show it, but it's the last plaster I've got, and I kind of need this to keep this from hurting because it stings like a bitch. But the last thing I'll talk about is the whole printed sleeves issue. I know there's a lot of people that don't understand. I will explain something first, just so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. I hated the idea of custom sleeve work. I love the way sleeves look. I don't mind the ratings. I don't mind the big, bulky cutter barcodes. I don't mind the UV banners. I'm not fussed about it as much as most people are. But after watching Omar's videos and seeing all the custom sleeves that he did, removing the age ratings off the spines, off the barcodes off the back, and removing the little text that says like Blu-ray, DVD, and all that stuff, removing that, making the sleeve have an actual image to explore and admire. Now, I don't want to do that for all my movies. I'm not that kind of person who will print off a sleeve for each one of my movies, just because I like some of the sleeves that I've got. I like the original sleeves. But there are a few movies in my collection, like box sets that come in chunky cases, or like non-UK or US Blu-ray, so Italian, German imports, that you can't read the text. And just ones that have sleeves that are damaged, you know, that like are torn or creased or faded. And I kind of said to myself, like, this guy's onto something really good, you know, because if you buy cheap secondhand Blu-rays that don't have cases or don't have sleeves, you're going to need one. So, you know, the idea of printing one off, it just seems like a good idea. So I started taking up doing some custom sleeve work. It's not a lot. My first custom sleeve ideas was the Star Wars movies, just because I had the big chunky box set, and I was like, I don't want to have to... the Blue Corner said that he doesn't like the idea of printing the sleeves off. He likes the original way. But the reason I do it is because I don't want to go, oh, I want to watch the original Star Wars. Pick up a big chunky box set, then bypass 3 discs to get to it. Whereas I can just go, oh, there it is. Boom. Straight off the shelf, straight into the player. It's an easy process. Plus, it makes the collection look like bigger. So I'm happy with that. I don't mind doing that for certain movies. And I've got some more custom sleeve arts I need to do. Like I'm being sent 2 Blu-rays, which hopefully when the parcel turns up I'll show them. But they are just the discs. But Omar, you guys know him, ain't got time to bleed. Well, I ain't got time to bleed. Channel link will still be in the description below. It's still going to be there, don't worry. He sent me the 2 Blu-rays, and he sent me the 2 sleeves to print out for them, so that at least I have them ready. I don't have to go and find them, they're right there for me. And they're already printed out, they're already on a platform for now. I've got like a little ledge in my wardrobe, where I keep my spare Blu-ray cases, all different sizes, so like the square, circles, and the thin cases, they're all up there. So then cases are there, ready for those discs. But, you know, like, just certain movies need custom sleeve work, you know, and I think it's easier just to print off a custom sleeve than trying to go on eBay, or, you know, or Gumtree, or any kind of secondhand selling site, Craigslist, and look for empty cases that have the sleeve but don't have the disc, because then you're spending money on a case, whereas you could just print it and it'll be there straight away. You ain't got to go for the fuss of waiting 3 to 4 days or a week for a case to be delivered. You can just go print in the sleeve, done, dusted. This video went on for a lot longer than it was supposed to. But yeah, so I didn't agree with custom sleeve work. But then when I was watching the videos, I just appreciated the fact of, if you have those cases that need custom artwork and custom like treated sleeves, then there's no harm in it, as long as you're not redoing your entire collection, which I don't do. For example, Snow White. We actually bought the 2-disc edition of Snow White we bought this so if you're wondering what's on the inside, it's just another sleeve that we printed on this shiny kind of pearlescent paper. But we bought these 2 discs off of Gumtree for a $5. She didn't have a sleeve, she didn't have a case for it. It was just these. Well, she had a case, but it was like a broken down case. Like discs weren't holding in it; they were just loose, rattling. She was selling it for $5, the feature and the bonus. And when we got in, I started instantly looking for an idea, like to just print off a sleeve, which turned out great. And look, I printed this straight offline, so I didn't remove anything. I didn't remove these because I wanted it to kind of match the collection, and I just print it off, and it's on there now. So that's my point. You know, like there's sometimes when you buy a movie or you get a collection or there's foreign movies where they just need custom sleeve work and they need it to go on the shelf. All I'm saying is, as the final message, OCD is a struggle. OCD is a lifetime thing. Don't let other people who have their nitpicks try and tell you that your collection's wrong, that it looks wrong, that you're collecting or organizing wrong, because you're not. You never organize or collect wrong. That's just stupid. It's silly. Everyone's collection is unique. They do it in their own way, and that's how it is. That's just how it is. That's how it has to be. So, in fairness, you know, just keep collecting, keep on organizing, and have fun with what you're doing. Don't let no one tell you that your collection isn't a collection unless you have it their way, because their way is wrong to you. Don't give in to the pressure. As long as I buy movies, whether they're 3D movies or 2D movies, if they've got no cases or they have foreign text and I can't read it, I'm going to do a custom for it, because in the end, that's just what I'm going to have to do in order for it to go on the shelf. But if people think that my collection's wrong, then you clearly don't appreciate who I am. You're not really my friend. Learn to live with what I can do. I mean, if you're watching my videos, if you're a subscriber to me, it's because you enjoy what I do. So if you're going to enjoy what I do and enjoy my collection, don't judge it just because it's not up to your standards, because it never will be. Just like probably your collection will never be up to my standards. I hate steelbooks. I hate digibooks. I hate 4K Blu-rays. But yeah, I still watch videos based on people's collections on those, because it's nice to watch other people's collections. You can see their differences, what they like compared to what you like. I don't judge it. You know what I mean? It's called friendship, and it's just called decency. Having respect for the other person. Anyway, this video is going to go up. This video is actually going to go up unedited, with no intro, no outro. Just because it's a serious video. This isn't one of those kind of videos that needs to be puffed up and what. This is just one of those videos I want to upload as an upload. Yeah. Alright. I'm not going to do my outro. I'm just going to say, take care, you wonderful people. And hopefully I'll see you for a movie review this week. Bye.